Before you give your manuscript to anyone else, you should go through a self-editing process. Hey guys, I'm Marilyn and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be sharing my self-editing process with you guys. Now there will be different processes that work for different people. This is just what I've been doing and I'm finding that it works well for me. So here you go. Start off with definitions. These aren't the actual dictionary professional definitions of these terms. That's just how I will be using them in this video. So the first thing is developmental edits, and what I mean by this is big picture edits, things that have to do with the plot and the structure of the book, the actual events that happen. Then there's style edits, which isn't an official term, but I use it to convey changes that have to be made to the prose or the writing style of a scene and a possible rewrite of a scene in terms of the way that it is written rather than what is happening. Then there's line copy edits, which deal with inline, sentence, grammar, edits, things like that. And then proofread is just checking for spelling, spacing, sentence errors, things like that. Now, the first thing is while you are drafting. So while I'm drafting, I keep a separate document called edit notes, and in that document I jot down anything developmental that I need to look at later. And then in the manuscript document itself, I use comments and highlighting to identify issues with the style, with the line edits and copy edits that I also need to look at later. This helps a lot since it helps me identify possible errors without having to slow down my drafting process and edit them immediately. I know that they are written down and I will get to them. I can just keep on writing. Then after drafting, so once I've finished my first draft, the first thing I do is fix the things that I listed in my edit notes and that I made comments on in the manuscript. This is a great place to start because the errors have already been identified. So I go through that list systematically and try to fix these things. Sometimes there isn't really anything to fix. I was just being nitpicky while writing, but you have to go through that list and see, is there something I have to rewrite, some developmental things that I have to change. Then I print out the manuscript and do a very careful read through. Now errors are so much easier to spot in hard copy, but if you don't want to print it or you don't have the resources to print out a whole manuscript, you can also read it on a tablet or phone. It's just nice to read it in a different format than on your computer. So here you're going to read through the manuscript and identify errors, and you're going to highlight them in different colors. Now I use green for developmental, pink for rewrites, blue for consistency errors, yellow for line and copy edits, but obviously you can use whichever color you desire. And remember that this is only for identifying the error, not fixing it yet. You can obviously make notes in pencil, but you don't have to make any corrections or come up with solutions just yet. It's just to identify. And now you start editing. So I start with the developmental edits, that which I highlighted in green. These are the big picture things, the actual story issues that you identified. And this is going to be the most brutal part of editing because it may have a chain reaction of changing a lot of things later on in the story. So here you really have to pay attention and try to figure out how you can make the story itself better. And like I said, it might have a chain effect of other edits that you have to do. During this round, I also usually correct the consistency errors that I highlighted in blue. Then once you're happy with the developmental side, you should edit that which you highlighted in pink, the rewrite or style things, because this might require rewriting an entire scene. Maybe it's just changing a specific word. So this won't take as much problem solving and brain skills as the developmental edits, but it is still quite significant edits. And then you're going to move on to copy and line edits. You highlighted them in yellow. So this is probably going to be your easiest round of edits because you're just going to adjust one sentence or one word at a time. You'll probably have come across more things that you want to edit while going through your manuscript again. you can give attention to these now. Then I would recommend using an editing software or extension. Now that you've edited all the errors that you could find, use something like Grammarly or Pro Writing Aid. So this will help you identify overused words or phrases, any inconsistencies in grammar or punctuation, weak sentences, slow pacing, etc. So let the program highlight these for you, and then you just change what you want to change. Grammarly is great, but I would really recommend Pro Writing Aid. It has a free website editor that you can use, which is pretty great, and it also has a Microsoft Word extension that I use. And then you're going to use some sort of device to read through your book again. I usually use my tablet, but if you have some sort of e-reader or you want to use your phone, whatever works for you, if you want to print it out again, go for it. So now you read through the whole thing again and you look for errors or inconsistencies, any mistakes that you notice, things that you want to change. This is mainly for proofreading purposes, but obviously you can find any errors in the novel that you might have to look at, and then improve them as you go along. Edit as you go along with this one. If you see the mistake, edit it right there. So this will not be the end of your editing process. You'll probably still go through critique partner edits and beta reader edits and edits with your agent, edits with your editor. But this is how I do the self-editing process, and it works for me. So I hope that you could get something useful out of this, a way to start self-editing if you don't know where to start. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also hit that subscribe button and ring that little bell if you want weekly writing advice videos. Then I will be going on a little YouTube hiatus until the 10th of July because I am buckled down with university work and exams, but I will see you guys again on the 10th of July. As always, you can still connect with me on my website, Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter. I will be active on social media, even though I won't be making YouTube videos. So then I see you guys in the next video. Bye!